Today we're on section 4.5 triangles, which is on page 162 in your textbook. And we're talking about a subject that we've already touched on a little bit before. We know that triangles have three sides. They're also considered polygons. They're closed figures, all that good stuff, but specifically because they have three sides is what makes them a triangle. They can be long, short, doesn't matter. They can face up, they can face down. The different kinds of angles in the triangle can be different. They just have to have three sides. Based on the name triangles, we can also identify that there are going to be three angles in our triangle, which are found at each of the corners or the vertexes of the shape. So some things we want to note is that in our triangle, that triangles have three angles. And then something interesting about these angles. If we take a triangle and we were able to, cut off the corners, right? If I could take these corners of our triangle and put them together, we're gonna find they actually equal a total of 180 degrees. That if I measure from here to here, plus the angle here, plus this angle here, we expect to get a straight angle or a sum of 180 degrees. So the sum of the angles is 180 degrees. So what we could do, and what they will do in your assignment, they're going to tell us a few of the angles, actually two of them, and ask us to find the missing one. So they have an example of that, example 4.5a, where they're telling us that there's a triangle. I think the one in your book is like pink or red. We have angle A, B, and C. And we're told that angle A is 34 degrees. Angle C, 55 degrees. And it says, find the missing angle of triangle ABC. So, based on this, I know that the sum, and we know sum means to add them together, that the sum of the angles is supposed to equal 180. Well, let's find out how many angles or how many degrees we already have. I could say that 34 plus 55 so far gives me a total of 89 degrees. Well, I know the total has to be 180, so I could just subtract to find out the degrees that are left to fill in the missing angle. So we'll do 180 minus the total we got so far of 89. Do a little borrowing. And we find that there are 91 extra angles or extra degrees in our angle. So our missing angle is 91 degrees. There's some other things they can do with this same concept. They could give you, three numbers and ask you, do the angles of these three things give you a triangle? And if you add them up and it equals 180, you would say yes, it is a triangle. If it doesn't, then you would say no, it's not, those angles would not work for a triangle, okay? Let's talk about three types of triangles. And these are also in your book on page 162. All right, our first type of triangle looks like this. This is how they've drawn it in your book. And they've shown us the specific number of degrees in each corner. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because this one's a little small. And I can't fit the degrees in there. So let's make it like that. And they're saying this one is 70 degrees, this one is 75 degrees, and this pointy one is 35 degrees. I noticed that each of these three angles is smaller than 90 degrees, or that they're all acute angles. So if all three angles are acute, I would call this an acute triangle. Okay, and again, we know it's acute because all three angles are acute. Okay, the next kind of triangle, they've drawn it this way. Let me make it a little bit better. I think I can do it better. So mine's a little more extremely drawn than the one in your book, but kind of get the idea. We've got 35 degrees here in this corner. Let me pause.